What's up, guys? I'm back with more F123 My Team. We are going into a Miami race. This was filmed like over a month ago. I generally remember what happened in this race, but also I'm experiencing a little bit for the first time a little bit the same way as you are, just because it's been so long since I did the actual race. I've been very busy, been busy with work. I haven't posted a video in almost a month now, but been very busy with work. Was out of town for a week on vacation, which was nice. It was fun. It was good, by the way. It was nice to get a break from everything. And I am back now, and I'm working through a backlog of some of this footage that I've put together for a couple videos for both F123, but then also some other stuff that you'll see as well. So stay tuned for that. But we're back. Miami Grand Prix, and I skipped the hot lap. I'm not a big fan of the supercars. I don't want to drive them. I have no interest in them. So I skipped straight to the race, and let's see what's going on. So you may have seen I replaced a component at the beginning of this race, and so the hope is that we've got a pretty fresh engine here, and we can just sort of go out here and kind of run it a little bit. You know what I mean? Jumping right into the first qualifying lap, and I will say I felt pretty good on this track after a little bit of practice. I mean, Miami is a track that I wouldn't say that I feel great at, but I kind of feel okay. I mean, I know it pretty well. There are a few points like this turn that you're seeing right here. I never really fully figured out the perfect braking point, and I'm kind of constantly working on trying to be better there. And there are a couple other turns throughout the track that are like that as well. But for the most part, I think I've figured the track out pretty well, and I feel pretty good at the track. And most importantly, I have the best car in the Formula One right now. This car, this Omega E Racing car, is the best car that exists in this formula. So the hope is that we can take my relative comfort, and you see me miss a braking point there. So this isn't. I don't think this is going to be a great lap. But we're hopeful that we can take my relative comfort, and maybe Jamie can do well as well, and we can get some points both for my drivers' championship hopes and the team collectively for the constructor championship. So we'll see what happens here. But we're coming off some pretty kind of lackluster performances recently. I think we had Baku was not good. Not a good race. That was, you may have seen, I go P1 after I said it wasn't a good lap. Baku, you may have seen, I don't want to spoil it for you, so go back and watch it. This is your warning right here. Go back and watch it if you haven't seen it and you want to watch it before I spoil it for you. But basically, it was a sprint race. I crashed out of the initial qualifying, so started from the very back. The sprint race, I just couldn't do much. Just, I don't know what it was. Couldn't make up a lot of places. In the race, we definitely made up some places, so I think I finished 9th or 6th or something like that. But we've got to do better than that. We're very behind in the Drivers' Championship, as you may have seen at the beginning of the video. I think I scrolled past it quickly. And we just got to do more. I mean, when you've got the best car in Formula One, you have to be able to capitalize on that and get some points. And unfortunately, we're starting from the back foot from the very beginning when I DNF'd from Bahrain with a mechanical failure. And it seems like a lot of my rivals are not really getting the same level of mechanical failures that I am. The hope is that that evens out a bit throughout the year. And I'm kind of surprised by that as well, because I'm in the Mercedes, which, at least when I started this save, was the most reliable engine in Formula One. So theoretically, we should be doing okay reliability wise. I don't know if maybe it's a team thing, but we'll see what we can do, see if we can take advantage of it. At the very end of my second lap here, you see me gain a little bit of time. It looks like I'm going to be less than a tenth up on my first lap, and I do. So purple sector 3, but that's only good enough for P4, which means that it's all up to this last lap to try to get a really good spot on the grid. But the good news is that I'm already up, and we're only 2 or 3 turns in, but then it goes red again. But remember, the track is evolving. We got track evolution. I am the last car on a qualifying lap. I timed it pretty well, I think, and I feel like I'm sticking to the track a little bit, but unfortunately not really gaining a lot of time. But right there, I start to gain a lot of time, because on my second run, I was all over the curb going into that sort of wide, what do you call it, like a spoon. and I ended up gaining a lot of time. And I'm going to gain time, I think, throughout this straight because I just got a better entry into it. So we're almost 4/10 up. We are finishing Sector 2 up here shortly, I believe. No, that's on the back straight, sorry. But I am feeling pretty good about this. It feels like I've got a decent amount of time. Hamilton in P3 with the 103.7. So the hope is to at least get up there on the top 3 spaces, maybe more if we time everything. If we nail the end of this lap, I should say. Again, 4/10 up. Not the greatest, and what was that, a 104.2, so we're shaping up for a pretty nice lap here. 2 green sectors, hoping for the purple 3rd sector, or at least the green, and hopefully get a good spot. And I'm trying not to run up on the back of whatever car this is in front of me, but it got kind of dicey there at the end, and I end up not really being able to improve much from my previous laps. So P5 is what we get in qualifying. It felt like there was a lot more in it, and it felt like I just threw it away there at the end of my 3rd lap. End up almost 9/10 off of pole. I definitely should have been in front of Leclerc, who is currently in 1st place in the championship. I think P2 was like the floor of what I should have been based on how that 3rd lap was shaping up about midway through.
Autodrome, home of the Miami Grand Prix. This exciting track circumnavigates the Hard Rock Stadium, home to the National Football League outfit, the Miami Dolphins. With great opportunities for wheel-to-wheel battles featuring 19 corners, 3.36 miles long, and expected average speeds of 138 miles an hour, the Miami International Autodrome will be sure to create lots of chances to overtake. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Joker, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Verstappen, Ocon, Chadwick, Fernando Alonso, Perez, Bottas, Gasly, Stroll, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Albon, Joe, Sargent, Magnussen, and Nico Hulkenberg rounds off the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box. Ant, it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
So P5 in the grid, we got a lot of work left to do in the race. It looks like what we're going to start here with is a 2-stop, medium, soft, and we'll see how that goes. I don't know what's going to happen here. I feel okay pace-wise. I mean, the qualifying lap, I ended up not being able to put everything together, but I do think I had a decent amount of pace throughout that 3rd lap and throughout some of the 2nd lap as well, but definitely on the 3rd lap, I think it was just a problem of not being able to close, more or less, not being able to finish off that lap and put together the lap that I needed to be on pole. But again, as mentioned earlier in this video, I have the fastest car on the grid, and the beauty of being able to set the AI level is that theoretically you can set the AI level to the point that you are competitive with the other cars if you are in equal cars. But we're not in equal cars. I'm trying to set the AI level so that we are competitive in equal cars, but remember that I have the best car on the grid. Unfortunately, Lando Norris in P1 had an absolutely lightning qualifying lap in Q3, or his 3rd qualifying lap to put him on pole, and I think he's going to be tough to beat. And the cars between us, I think I probably have more pace than, just based on what my qualifying lap should have been, but I think it will be a matter of putting that all together and getting that result that I know that we need. Off the line, get a pretty good start there. Not the greatest of starts, but we passed Sainz pretty easily, but then he gets back passes. I was just a little bit tentative going into that turn 1, trying not to mess everything up by running into people, but I ultimately get shuffled behind Signs, and Russell is on my tail immediately. Russell has the soft tires. I've got the medium tires, and pretty quickly we're at a big disadvantage here. And it's not a surprise to me that Signs got in front of me on the soft tires, and given that I was a little tentative going into turn 1, but it's a bit disappointing because I would have liked to gain at least a place because I think I got a pretty good start. Going in to the end of the second lap here, start of the third, we get DRS. I get the fastest lap, and that shows to me that I have decent pace, and I've been able to stick with these guys a little bit and gain a little bit of time. Obviously, I didn't show you that because it's a long race, and I don't want this to be a 2-hour video, but I'm able to stick with these guys, and it seems like going through, especially this section of the track here, I am gaining a lot of time. That's Sector 1 that I'm gaining a lot of time, I feel like. And if I use the battery in Sector 2, which you can do in MyTeam it just seems like you have almost unlimited battery, then you can really gain a lot of time on these guys. And that's exactly what I'm doing on Signs, despite the fact that he's on softs and I'm on mediums. I almost wonder if I had a lower downforce setup than some of these other guys did, because it kind of felt like I had a bit more pace in those sort of situations than maybe you would have expected. Although I do have the fastest car in the grid, so maybe I'm wrong about that. But we're past Signs, we're up to P4, and I got to make quick work of these guys. What I would love to do is clear the clerk and get up there with Norris. I don't know if I'm going to be able to clear Norris before the end of his stint, but that would be absolutely awesome for me to be P1 on track and have those other guys pitting behind me, and me hopefully gaining a lot of time on them if at all possible. Make the move there on Leclerc. I'm able to stick it and get it done, which is nice. He gave me a lot of room there, a lot more than maybe I would have expected. But we're within a second of Norris. So fast forward a bit, lap 7. It was a couple laps here where I'm just kind of sticking with Norris and Hamilton and letting those guys drag me along. But Leclerc and Sainz are absolutely in the dust behind me. I mean, over 3 seconds behind for Leclerc. And apparently Sainz was not able to get past him. But that was almost really bad there going down that long straight. Norris and Hamilton are kind of scrapping a little bit. And I just almost got caught in the crossfire because it could have been pretty bad if I'd tried to go for that. But thought about a move into turn 1. Couldn't get it done. And I think it was just prudence, really. It was just a matter of it would not be a great idea for me to try to go for this move. And there's really no hurry. These guys are on softs. If I can stick with them while I'm on mediums, then I feel like I'm doing fine. I'm doing okay. I get past Norris there, and I'm able to get past Hamilton as well, but go a little bit deep in the braking zone. And I'm going to have to fight to keep this position, and I can't really do it. So Hamilton gets back in front of me, which is fine. We were fortunate. We avoided a collision there. I got the place, but just couldn't make it stick because I sort of overcooked the braking point a little bit. But the hope here is that I can get him on this back straight with DRS. So I'm gonna hit the battery, and I'm gonna go full throttle, and I'm gonna do what I can. I'm quickly gaining time on him, even before the DRS section. I get to DRS in the DRS zone, and I absolutely fly past Hamilton, hit my braking point, turn in, and it looks like I'm gonna be able to easily keep P1 and hopefully just take it from here and go off to the races. So this first stint so far is really encouraging. It seems like I have incredible pace, and I'm going to fast forward through the stint here a little bit and show you kind of what's happening, but I'm gapping these guys. I'm on medium tires. Hamilton, Norris, Russell, Sainz are all on soft tires, and maybe they've died off at this point, but 12 laps, you think probably they would be useful for a little bit longer, but after passing Hamilton on lap 9, 10, something like that, I've put over 11 seconds on him in 6, 7 laps, something like that. So I'm absolutely flying. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I feel like this is my race to lose. And to me, it just doesn't seem like there's any way that I can botch this. Jamie up there in P4 would be really good for the team if we can get double points, maybe even a double podium. I know that she's on the mediums, so we'll see. She's obviously going to pit a little bit later, so we'll see what happens there. But lap 20, I'm going to peel off into the pits. Remember, I'm on the 2-stop medium to soft, so we'll be going on to another set of mediums here. I brake just in time. We get in, fast forward a little bit through the pit section, and let's see what the time is. 2.7 seconds, not the worst, but it could be a little bit better. Looks like I've got 19 laps on these mediums and the game is expecting me to pin on lap 38. I might end up extending that second stint a little bit just because we're going on softs for the last one, and I don't know if I want to do 19 laps on the softs, but I think we're definitely doing okay here. And again, just fast forwarded, and I'm gaining a ton of time on the people behind me. Like, I'm just absolutely gapping these guys. Lap 38, this is like, so I skipped most of that stint because I think it was pretty uneventful. I just, absolutely nothing was happening. I don't know if I saw a single car on track. And Norris, Chadwick, Piastri, Alonso, these guys are catching me a little bit, but they're also pitting. I think we're all in the same strategy here. So Norris might have started on soft. So I guess Norris is going soft, medium, medium. But lap 42 here, I sort of waited a little bit, and I waited to pit because I want to say that my strategy said I was supposed to pit on lap 38, 39, something like that. But I kind of decided I'm going to hold off on this while I've got this really big lap on these guys, or gap on these guys. 2.7 seconds. Again, it says I got 28 laps of life on the softs, but unfortunately I get passed by a couple cars, and that's starting to make me wonder, hey, maybe I should have actually pitted when they told me to. I think it was only 2 or 3 laps later, but I didn't foresee that really causing much of an issue for me. But Hamilton and Perez, I want to say, I don't know if they need to pit again. Well, yeah, Perez is right there pitting in front of me, and Hamilton is as well. So this is a true lead that I have right here. I am P1, and that's accurate. But Lando Norris is bearing down behind me, almost 5 seconds behind, but I'm on the softs and he's on the mediums. Fast lap for Jamie Chadwick. Way to go. Love to see that for the team. But Lando Norris is quickly gaining time on me, and I'm not fully sure why. And I was able to get out in front of him a little bit. I set a fast lap, but within a couple laps, he's within a second of me, and he's got his own fast lap on the mediums. And while this was happening, I was just, I was amazed. I did not expect Lando Norris to be this much faster than I was when he's on the mediums and I'm on the softs. And in retrospect, I think that the problem was that one of my engine components went over 50%, maybe 2 of them. I can't remember exactly. Again, this was over a month ago that I filmed this, almost 2 months ago, I think. But the just ease with which he passed me there was astounding. And it's one of those things that when it happens on track, I was just aghast. I mean, he passed me this lap, and I'm roughly half a second down. I'm going to use DRS here and try to catch up with him. My hope was that I would be able to stick with Lando Norris for the rest of this race. I mean, it wasn't a guarantee by any means, but I was hoping that I could stick with him and just sort of use his DRS train and just pull me along, right? But unfortunately, it just seems like he's got a lot more pace than I do. And I sort of missed my braking point on turn 1, so I'm a bit on the back foot. I'm 9/10 behind. I'm over a second behind now. I just have no hope. I'm not going to make it to the next DRS zone. So Lando Norris just absolutely runs away from me here. And again, this just left me searching for answers at the moment. We are in the race. I'm in the car. Again, 100% race. It's a long race. You've got a lot to think about. But I'm sitting there thinking, this is not good. Why are we this much slower than Lando Norris in the McLaren when we have the absolute best car in the field? And obviously he's gaining a ton of time on me. And in these closing laps of the race, it looks like Jamie Chadwick is going to challenge me for the second spot on the podium. And I would hope that I'll be able to keep at least a podium. I mean, Piastri is a full 4 seconds behind on hards. But Jamie, there's no question, Jamie's getting very close. And don't get me wrong, this is awesome for the team. I'm so excited for the team. Jamie's on the podium. I don't think that Jamie's had a podium yet throughout this season. I mean, I could be wrong about that. She might have had one. But we've got the best car in the field, and it's nice to see Jamie's abilities developing because just in terms of pure rating, she was a bit lower when I signed her to the team. But no question, she's growing in Formula One, and she has become a threat at any time to score points, maybe get a podium. and I don't think she has a win yet, but we'll see where the season takes us, and beyond, of course. But for the moment, the only thing I'm thinking about is I need to be the lead Omega car when we finish this race. It is important for me, after getting absolutely gapped by Lando Norris on the slower tire, that I can try to keep this. And you may have seen in the bottom right corner flashed up the what do you call it, the MFD, and one of the options is the engine, the car, and I have worn components. So I think that's definitely what it was, and I just wasn't thinking about it at the moment. I think I was definitely ahead there. I was kind of surprised. Jamie seemed to turn into me a little bit, but I felt like I was justified to stick it out there on the inside. I mean, we were very much alongside each other. I don't think I did anything wrong whatsoever, and the stewards obviously saw the same, as they did not see fit to penalize me. But going down this last long straight, I'm going to absolutely goose the battery, go as fast as I can. It looks like I'm going to be able to stay in front of Jamie. I'm roughly half a second ahead, but I'm going to take a slightly defensive line to the inside, hope that she cannot get around. She backs out a little bit. I lock up a tiny little bit, but there's just not going to be enough room. And it looks like she maybe had to inopportunely hit the brake or something, because she ends up roughly 4/10 behind me, and I get P2, second spot on the podium. Disappointing given the pace that I felt like we were going to have, but I learned a little something about engine wear components, or about engine component wear, and just how to be smart about my component usage, I think, because I didn't think it was going to be that much of an issue. I mean, I knew about the 50% thing. It's like if a component goes over 50%, it impacts uh your performance on track, no question, but I didn't expect it to be that much. And it's kind of disappointing, because I felt like I could have beaten Lando Norris today. I felt like I had it in the first stint, and then as soon as we hit 50% on that component, it just felt like it was over. It just felt like we had no chance. So it's really disappointing. And I hate to say that about a P2 and a P3 for the team, because it's obviously great for the team, but it's disappointing for me because it feels like it could have been so much more. And I got that first win at Jeddah, but I'm always looking for another win. But for today, I think we got to take the positives. As a team, we had great pace. We got a P2 and a P3. Jamie with the P3, super proud of her, super proud of this team for banding together, and ultimately I think coming out with a really strong result here in Miami. So we'll absolutely hope to build on this. Hopefully this is our first double podium for the team, and hopefully it is the first of many, and we'll see what we can do. But you see there, Lando just, we had no way to fight him. He finishes over 14 seconds ahead. He gets the fast lap, but as I mentioned, I think that we've got a lot that we can learn from this, and it's certainly a good thing. I went up 3 spots from P5 to P2. Jamie started in P10, finishes on the podium. So the good news is that Charles Leclerc did not win, but he still has a massive lead. It is anybody's fight, I think. I mean, look at this. I'm only 21 points behind Hamilton. We can certainly make that up if we are good throughout the rest of the season. But Ferrari is very far ahead in the constructors. So we've got a work cut out for us. We're not going to go over 50% again on engine components, but we will see if we can succeed in the future.